Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video, and welcome to Moscow, and welcome to Paveletskaya train station. It's right behind me. Now we're not really going to go look at the train station, we want to look at the park that's right in front of me. And there's a shopping center here as well, so maybe we can get them both in the same video. So let's go, shall we? So this is Paveletskaya train station, or as it says in Russian, Paveletskaya Vokzal. It's a very beautiful station, and interestingly right here they've actually even got the tram lines, and the tram runs right through the entrance of the station, and you'll see people coming out, of course. This is also a metro station as well, so it's a fairly big hub of public transport. You will see lots of people coming and going. And as we spin around, check it out. This is Paveletskaya Park, and it's right in the center of Moscow. And it's got a very interesting feature that's very worthy of this video, I think. Now, I thought I'd show you where we are on a little map here. Now, it really just shows the park area. The train station is right here, and the metro station. And it's actually on the other side, there's an underground passage that you can walk through as well. And this is Paveletskaya Square, or Paveletskaya Park. And this is what we want to see as well. The shopping center now, actually having a look. Do you see a shopping center? Is there one anywhere in sight? Now, if you've seen a lot of my other videos, you'll know a lot of the shopping centers in Moscow and Moscow region are 3, 4, 5 levels. And how is there a shopping center here when this place is a flat park? It's really very mysterious where this shopping center is, but we're going to find it and we're going to go and check it out. Now, if you watch my previous live stream a couple of days ago and last night, I mentioned that my wife's been away for a week at her friend's dacha. And she's coming back in about 2 hours to the exact train station right behind me, so it's perfect. I can come meet her at the train station, have flowers, have chocolates. No, probably not. More like I'll be carrying the bags home, and we can get right home from this station to our house. So you get to see a beautiful park, and I get to see my beautiful wife afterwards. Now, a lot of the parks that are in the center of Moscow are always a little bit indifferent in how they look. They look very architectural. They've got these kind of curves and roofs and shaded areas. And then you've got plants. And you've got this big paved area right here, so people can ride scooters and bicycles all the way over it and just take a walk and have a look at this building right here. Now, the sun's not doing us any favors, but this is very, very nice building right here, just behind these, I want to call them structures. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but Moscow has more urban spaces or parks in the city than anywhere else in the whole world. Please let me know in the comments if I'm not right about this, but we're right in the center of Moscow, and then you have these beautiful parks right here. Now, I just want to show some contrast here, because there's obviously a lot of traffic in Moscow. It's a very populated city. Between 15 and 17 million people live in Moscow region. So you've got this very big 5-lane road right here. And then we literally just turn away a little bit. And although we've got a bit of noise from the cars behind, we have this very beautiful walkway which leads us towards the square area here. And there's such a contrast with the buildings behind. There's kind of these big business towers, and there's these classic Russian and Soviet apartment buildings, and then you've got all these different types of plants. Some people would call them weeds, but you know, anything with color looks so nice when you see them at the parks like this. And have a look at these trees right here. They look like they just recently got pruned, but There is such a contrast in the kind of things that you can see in Moscow very easily from main highways. And then as we come over here, you then have a little play area right here and a park where the kids are playing and everybody's having fun. Now I think I found some signs of the shopping center here. Now this glass dome right here, I think, is the roof of the shopping center. Now it'll be very interesting to see inside eventually. Now if anybody has been to Moscow or you've been around and close by Red Square, there is Zaradi Park, and they have a very big lookout over the river. And now they've actually got one here as well, overlooking the park. So we're going to head on up there and check it out. Now it seems like this is also a very popular spot for selfies and TikToks and Instagrams. I hope the ladies don't mind. I know lots of people want to see beautiful Russian ladies in the videos. So sometimes we're going to catch them and sometimes we're not. Have a look at these little pontoons that you can relax on here. And we get another look at that building right here behind. And some more people having a look at the view as well. And every time I kind of try to get a look at the water fountain right here in the center. Oh, there it goes. The water fountains aren't playing. And they've got some classical music going on. And all the kids are running around there and all the big kids. And have a look at this view. We are right in the center of Moscow. And have a look at the park right here. And then what I consider a secret shopping center underneath this park and train station. I just love looking at these buildings in the background. These are all apartment buildings, and they're just the different kind of styles of them. They look kind of similar, but they're from different eras. But imagine the view from their balcony windows. And I probably don't really want to imagine what the price of the apartments would cost in this area. As we see another one of the trams going by. These are the more modern looking ones. And the good thing about catching the trams here, it's the same payment as if you catch the buses and the metro or the subway. So you can actually easily interchange between them. And there's another view of a tram going by. They run very frequently. I'm pretty sure they're going on different routes though, but there's plenty of them as we see the station in the background and these very nice purple flowers. I was thinking it was lavender, but I'm pretty sure it's not. But it's got a nice contrast with the building in the background. Now I hope you can hear the music in the background. It actually gets really loud at different points. And then the water fountains kind of spray and then the kids run in there exactly every time I go to record it. Oh, it's not spraying around, but this is very nice. Now, it's not quite the Bellagio in Las Vegas, but it's still a very nice kind of feature in this park as everybody wonders when the next squirt of water is coming. And there we go. So as the music keeps playing on the speakers right behind me, there's a pretty interesting poster here that sort of shows the park and roughly where we've been walking around and the train station. And then you can see the lines there. This is pretty much an artist's rendition when they were originally building it. But if we walk around to the next one, there's one where it shows it in wintertime. And that center area where they're playing in the water fountains now, they've actually got skating right there. So depending on the time of year you come, you get a completely different feel to this place. So just taking a walk a little bit further around. It's not that big of a park really, but you can kind of walk around and have a look at all the little corners of the park. There's different places to sit down and relax. And a lot of people come here obviously because of the train station, because it's a very major hub in the east of Moscow, and a lot of people will kind of arrive into Moscow by taking this line, and then a lot of people will come for the park, a lot of people will come for this secret shopping center, and you know, it's just a nice place to hang out. And my eye is always drawn to these apartments here right across the street, and the view from their balcony and how beautiful it probably is. And you know, this park took quite a few years to build. There was a lot of disagreements about how it should look, and especially with the shopping center owners that wanted obviously a very big shopping center here, and all the people that lived in these apartments didn't want a shopping center, and they came to a compromise, which is a good thing really, with the fact that it's a secret underground shopping center. This is another one of the structures here that they've built, where pretty much all of them sort of tend to give you a view back into the middle of the park. And I'm sure later in the evening these lights will come on here. They've got like fairy lights wrapped around the pillars and posts, and I'm sure it's very beautiful when it's lit up. And this was the one that we went up a little bit earlier here. You can see how it kind of cantilevers off the side of the building there. And there's a few people up there. Everyone's sort of mostly kind of chilling out. It's actually a very warm day here in Moscow. Pretty much one of the warmest days of the year. Now, although it's not very sunny, there's a lot of humidity around. So I can see why all these kids want to run into the water fountain. You know, you're in the middle of a city and there's water kind of squirting everywhere, so it kind of draws you to it, right? Now, I want everybody in the comments to let me know what this device is called. Now, if you're probably in America, you've got one term for it, and then for me in Australia, it's called something else. So please let me know in the comments what the name of this device is. I'm just going to call it that, so everybody can answer me in the comments. Now, I know the answer, but which one is correct? Now, I think a lot of you are still watching because you want me to go and show you this underground shopping center. Now, I could do an entirely separate video on this place. We're just going to briefly walk in and have a look at it from the kind of the outside, and then going in the entrance. They've actually got a sign here about the name of the shopping center, and there's these escalators going down. Just look how big it is. So we're kind of going from the nice green tundra that was the park, and then we go into this almost concrete jungle of a shopping center here. Now, you'll kind of understand a little bit why all the locals were so unhappy that they were going to build a multi-level shopping center here. So they said, look, you can build it, but it has to not invade on the area and spoil the view of the park. So they settled on this underground shopping center. So we did kind of get a bit of a view of these glass domed roofs a little bit earlier in the video, but they really kind of come into their own once you come in this main lobby of the shopping center here. And then we've got another level down that we're going to go, and it's really nice. They've actually got this kind of seated area here, and then occasionally they've got events, and they've got a stage set up here, and then sometimes they do fashion parades. But we're going to head on down and have a little bit of a wander. Now, we're only 2 levels underground according to the escalators, but probably in real life we're more like about 5 levels underground. So of course we can't get away from some of these stores that have left Russia. So Sneaker Box used to be Reeboks, and you can actually even see right on the advert there, the Reebok is right on the video. And then Adidas has still not reopened under a new name, and there is talk about a company taking them over and reopening them. That's why everything has stayed untouched. But right next to Sneaker Box, you have Superstep. which is essentially a multi-brand shoe store. So it doesn't really matter if you missed out on one brand, you just have to walk literally 20 steps and you've got all the brands. You can see Lacoste right there, you can see Adidas, Diadora, and then this brand here, Anta. This is one of the new brands that's come to Moscow recently, which is a lot more well known outside of Russia. Now, for everyone watching around the world, please tell me, does your shopping center have a wine bar or a wine shop in the shopping center? And they've also got wine tasting right there. And they've got these ladies that will help you choose your favorite drink. And they've also got a lot of things that kind of complement it. But does your shopping center where you live in the world have a wine bar right in the middle of the atrium? Now let me know in the comments again if you'd like to see a bit more of a detailed walk around of this shopping center. I could come and do something kind of completely separate, just showing all the different stores here. I'm just going to briefly walk around. It's a very big place to kind of squeeze into this video, but I just want to show you this secret underground shopping center underneath the park. And then walking a little bit further along here, the shopping center basically covers the entire underneath of the park area. We walked on that ground level, but actually on the sign here, it shows you there -1, -2, and then -3. There's even an entire supermarket, Perikrostock. So you've kind of got everything. I just thought I'd squeeze in M-Video here. This is one of the big electronics stores. Actually, this is not a particularly big store compared to some of them around in the different shopping centers, but front and center, they've got Samsung. I thought Samsung wasn't displaying in the shopping centers in the stores in Russia, but they seem to have a fairly big build out here, along with Honor, and then Xiaomi right here. So my S23 is right there. Now this is the newest one. I really want one of these watches, but I also need somebody to help me pay for it. Now, what's the American brand? Is it Williams Sonoma? Now, have you heard of Williams and Oliver? It's actually a really nice kitchen store or home goods store, but it's always interesting when they've got the names a little bit similar but not quite the same. Now, it's probably hard to get a bit of an idea of how big this place really is, because it really is a lot bigger when you're down here and when you're kind of walking on this upstairs, I guess street level. Everybody's lining up for coffee here. This is Coffix, which has got essentially one price coffee. So you just choose what you want and it's one price. You can see how popular it is with all the ladies. And then if you really haven't watched any of my videos before, this is Mia Kubikov, or World of Bricks, which was basically the Lego store. And there's the Lego staff in there selling lots of different Lego. And they've got everything fully stocked on all the walls. No shortage. It's not running low or empty, that's for sure. So a little bit deeper into the shopping center, there's a second atrium, and this actually reveals the food court and all the different places you can have something to eat. And I was kind of hoping that there was no mainstream brands here, which there really isn't. But unfortunately, they've squeezed in a Burger King just in the corner over here. But otherwise, everything is not the traditional fast food brands, which is always good. Probably one of the more famous Russian fast food places is Terimok, which is this place right here. And have a look at all the plants and trees in here. I wonder if that's kind of an ode to the park we're in. And they've actually got the counters at the back there, but it's like you're in a little bit of a jungle while you're having some lunch. Then you can see the escalators leading up back to the street level from this side. And this kind of wooden structure here with this upper seating. Most people are sitting downstairs because it's much easier. I think a lot of people have come here really for lunch. and also just to go out of the heat for a little while. So I'm not actually going to have anything to eat here. I'm going to wait for my wife just to arrive from the train station, and then probably on the way home we'll grab something to eat. So at least you got to see the food court. You didn't get to see me eating, so that's probably a good thing. Now today, while I'm doing this walk around, it's actually Saturday afternoon. Now I know a lot of people are going to mention in the comments, you know, the shopping center isn't very busy. There's not a lot of people now. 26 to 28 Celsius temperature is warm for Moscow, so people aren't really wanting to come to shopping centers. They want to be outside in the sun, they want to be outside of the fresh air, and shopping centers are kind of the last thing that a lot of people want to do. I mean, there's still a few people around. Obviously the food court is busy, but this is one of about 40 shopping centers in Moscow. And this is kind of right in the center, so you've really got to come here to come shopping at this place versus going to one a little bit closer to where you might live in Moscow and Moscow region. And then not only do they have -2, -3 level, this is basically the lower ground floor that's got the parking. So imagine when they were building this place, how much they had to excavate to get down here. And have a look at this very nice BMW right here with the priority parking right at the kind of lower entrance. Now, I wasn't going to include this, but I think it might be relevant to some people. I can't show you beauty everywhere in Moscow without showing a little bit of construction or remodeling. And this is the normal way you get down to the supermarket, but they're doing a little bit of remodeling on the escalator. And then you end up down here in this lower level. There's a key cutting place, there's a pharmacy, and then there's what's called a tobacco shop, which sells cigarettes and different smoking implements. There's also dry cleaning over there. I'm not too sure what this lady does. I think she's got flowers or little small plants, I guess. But here is Paveletskaya, which is one of the very nice, I'm going to almost say fancy supermarkets here in Moscow. And then again, I could do an entire video just of this place. It's very nicely set out, this store. Beautiful fruit right in the entrance. What's really cool about this Paveletskaya is it's got a cafe right here in the entrance. So you can actually buy food from the supermarket and sit down. And they've got plugs for your phones. If you want to warm up some food, there's microwaves. And if you really just want to pay for something in the store, you can do self-checkout right over here where you actually sit at the cafe. So nice. There's a lot of honor and honesty here in Russia, where you just literally grab something to pay from the fridges, you do it at the self-checkout, and then you go on and sit down. Or have a look at all these cakes and sweets. Oh, some cheesecake right there. Some nice classic sandwiches. Lots of very nice food. Oh, let's have a look at their pizza. And there's also sushi there. The lady's almost blending in. And then oh, look at these pizza slices. Very nice. And these guys make them right here. You'll see the guy with the kind of table right there. And then the ovens. And then all of these very nice pastries. And literally just grab a chair, sit down, relax. Or if you really want to indulge, get yourself a cake, get yourself some champagne or martini, and you're good to go. So if you'd like to see a longer walk around of this supermarket, let me know in the comments. I will put a card for you to watch of a Paveletskaya that you can actually have a walk around on another video. If you want to check out what this sort of store feels like. Apart from adding this part to the video, I actually want to come and grab a drink from here. I'm a little bit spoilt for choice with what I want to grab, and I know which one I want. This is the lemon, lime, and mint flavored drink here, which is very delicious. Have a look at all the different choices of cheese that they've got here as well. They actually prepare the cheese there behind from all the bulk blocks of cheese, and then all the different deli hams here. So you can get yourself just a few slices, grab a couple of bread rolls, and sit down and enjoy it at the cafeteria. And look at this beautiful salmon. Oh, so nice. All this fish. And again, we've got the fish lady or fishmonger here. And they've even got live fish in the tank in the background. And part of the cafeteria, they've actually got some more ready-made food that's cooked in-house. You got lots of different choices. There's also salads there as well. And they weigh it out and you just buy it by the gram. And lots of different rice dishes, lots of veggie dishes, meatballs, potatoes, all sorts of choices. So I think we just about saw enough of the supermarket to get an idea of what it's like inside, -3 underground. And it's kind of interesting, and I really like this, that this Apple restore is here. This is the one, obviously, that's the third-party reseller of Apple products. There is no Apple stores in Russia whatsoever, but these are essentially the same thing. iPhone 14 Pro, right there on that first display when you walk in. And then literally next to it is my Samsung store with all the Samsung products as all the staff go running away as I walk towards it. But I'm pretty sure my S23 is right here at the front. There it is. And if anybody wants to help me out buying the watch, that might be my next thing that I want to get. But plenty of Samsung items and plenty of stuff. And I've got one last level to walk up to get back outside. Everybody's relaxing here on this terracing. Pretty much all the ladies. I'm not sure all the men are in there shopping or having lunch, but you know, I think everybody's kind of just a little bit tired now with this warm weather today, which I can completely understand. Thought we'd have one last look at the dancing fountains and all of the people and mostly all the kids having fun here. It's really nice that they're playing all this sort of very classical Russian music at the same time. And the kids are kind of running in and running out of this water fountain. Yeah, it's pretty popular. I think, why? Based on everybody's smiles and screams, I really think it is. So I thought I'd just about do the ending up here at the top. And I just thought I'd just show this space again where we've walked around and then where we were underneath in the shopping center. And there's one of the glass kind of atriums right there, and this one a little bit further around, but just the fact that this entire square has a shopping center underneath, and then the very beautiful train station, and all these gardens, and all of these kind of terracings that they've built is really very nice. And I hope the video kind of does it justice at how beautiful it is. You know, we are in the middle of Moscow. We did see the traffic, you know. You can see that big roof there where we walked in and out of the shopping center as well. And just the fact that this entire square has a shopping center. I'm just kind of a little bit dumbfounded myself how they managed to do this and the amount of construction and engineering they did to kind of make this work. Okay, everybody, I want to thank you for watching today's video, and I hope you enjoyed this. I hope perhaps maybe you've been a recent subscriber to the channel after watching the Gorky Park video. So coming to another park here in the center of Moscow kind of just extends your viewership. Thanks, of course, to all the subscribers of the channel. We're getting very close to 100,000 subscribers now. That's just amazing to think. Roughly 70 more days, according to the statistics. I wonder if it'll be sooner. If you really did like the video, give it a thumbs up. Post a comment, maybe you know this square. Maybe you've been here before, maybe in the past. Maybe you didn't know the shopping center was here. Maybe you've never been inside it. I mean, I've been here a few times, but it's not exactly where I live, so you've really got to come into Moscow to check this out. Obviously, a lot of people come in and out of this train station and then come and just discover this place almost by accident. So yeah, thumbs up if you liked it. Thumbs down, maybe you don't like the color of the trees, the flowers aren't blooming yet. I'm not too sure, maybe you didn't see any rubbish on the floor, Didn't get enough beautiful ladies in the video, or beautiful men. I'm not sure. Again, post a comment, let me know what you think of the video, if you want to see more parks, what kind of things you want to see. I put another video for you to watch after this one. So if you want to click that video, you can check out an old video from the channel, maybe something you've not watched before. And I'm off on another adventure. Bye, everybody.